What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Off the Ropes. This is George.
This is Julian, man. Freaking off to another one here. What's going on, people? How we doing, Tucson? How we doing, boxing world?
Yes, absolutely. Boxing World. We are here to come to you guys with another episode brought to you by us, George and Julian. We're gonna talk about this weekend's fights that just happened. From the Colbert to the Garcia to CATERALL to Josh Taylor, you name it. Like
To
we
the
got
controversy.
Yeah, it's all the stuff that happened this past weekend, and we'll also be getting to a little bit of this weekend's fights, Friday and Saturday, and what we thought. So, well, first, we'll get into it here. We have a little. There you go. So here it is. Weekend wrap up. It's something that we like to come up with, where, like I said, where we talk about the shows or the fights that just happened this weekend, even if it's fights, news, whatever it is, late breaking, we come to you guys with this weekend wrap up. But this weekend, Julian, first fight that came on a little early coming out of Europe was the Josh Taylor and Jake Catterall, man.
Yeah, it was an upsetting fight, man. But let's just start off with the undercard, man. I mean, the undercards are fun, right?
Yeah, for
I
sure, for
mean, you
sure.
had you had Nick Campbell and freaking Jay McFarland go at it, man. I mean, these two dudes put on a show for 7 rounds. I mean, heavyweight dudes. These you thought at one point Campbell was out. Like you really thought so. And freaking McFarland. I mean, he was just stopped. He just stopped him in the 7th round. It was
Yeah.
a pretty funny fight, but hey, it was a cool fight to see, especially being in this Scottish land, of Scotland there, and pretty cool to represent, I guess, but not the way I guess he wanted it to go.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. From what I understood, this was like the first time they actually had this fight for that belt, for that heavyweight belt in Scotland. That has not been. I guess it's been more than 50 years that this
Yeah, it's
fight
been
this what
vacant.
yeah, no, not just vacant, but like someone's fought for this belt, and you had Nick Campbell and Jay McFarland. I mean, when this fight came on, you saw it too in the pre stuff, the weigh-in, the press conference. McFarland and Campbell jawing at each other. The typical heavyweight guys, confident that one guy will knock the other guy out. Um, Good
Had
fight. Yeah, it was a good fight. It is what it is. At least what you expected from these two guys. I thought actually going into this, I really didn't do my homework. Going into the fights on Saturday, or what to expect from Nate Campbell and Jay McFarland. But just watching, in my eyes, I thought that Jay McFarland was going to actually do what every big boy does. Take him about 2-3 rounds to get warmed up and knock out Nick Campbell, but it didn't happen that way. It did not happen that way, bro.
nope.
It did not happen that way. Like I said, I thought maybe after about 2 rounds, I would have thought that McFarland would have done something where, he was going to let Nick Campbell out throw himself and then just take over from there. But it didn't look like that. It just, since round number two, not round, or even round number three, McFarland just didn't have anything in him. He just looked exhausted. I thought
He was
he was going
just
to die
throwing
on his feet. Yeah,
haymakers whenever he wanted to. I was just like, damn, you're
yeah,
that tired?
I thought he was going to die on his feet, man. I'm like, oh man, we're about to see another death in the ring,
Yep.
unfortunately, but it didn't happen that way, thankfully.
Yeah, thank God. I mean, you had the co-main in this one right here. You had, of course, the double Olympic champion Robesi Ramirez. Of course, he went at it with the challenger Eric Donovan.
Hmm.
Um, like what was your take on his performance? Being that I know he lost his first professional bout, correct, and ever since then he's won. I mean, what was your take on this one from his last fight? Because his last fight was horrible.
Yeah, it happens when you're a young talent. That's what you expect, especially stepping up in fights. That's what happened with Ramirez. Um, I didn't know what to expect because you just never know what happens with these guys, especially after coming off a first loss. Does this hurt their confidence? Um, what do they do? Where do they go from there? But as far as Roby, he was in there with the right opponent. He was in there with Eric Donovan. Donovan, not saying that he was never relevant or he was irrelevant, but he was in there to show what I call these showcase fights, and that's what it was for me. Was Roby Romero was in there for a showcase fight to, get his legs under him again and get back in the winning column. But his last loss obviously came in 2021, but since then he went on a little winning streak. Um, and I think this was a good win for him, especially prime time. This coming off of Sky Sports and ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
So you had two big major networks pushing this fight out there. Pushing this fight out there. I mean, what did you see in this, Julian? Were you impressed with Robbie C or
I was actually saw improvement, a lot of improvement. We're talking from the jab to the counter strikes, on him. Um, we're seeing what he really can do, like what he's capable of doing in the division. Um, yes, I see him later on. I do see him, challenging for a title later on. I'm give him a little bit more time, of course. But I think the Olympic pedigree is kind of going to trigger, that down the line. Where he's actually get a title shot soon. And everybody's vacating these belts. Everybody's going up in weight right now, and so I mean, we could see him, in two different divisions.
Mhm.
But other than that, I mean, I just saw a big time improvement in this fight. Just impressed with him this fight. Yeah, very. He was very poised this fight. He actually wasn't sloppy with nothing like he was his last fight. He actually got in there, used his reach to an advantage. And just Donovan just didn't have a chance since the first round, since that cut, and it was over.
Yeah. It was showcase for Ramirez. And sky's the limit for this guy, man. Many more places for him to go from here. Like you said, there's two divisions that he could look at. I would say I could see him possibly maybe contesting for a belt or even an eliminator here, like in the next, maybe by the end of the year, which would be good for him, man.
Well, that's what I thought I was reading today too. I was gonna say that. Yeah, he will probably possibly be in a title eliminator at the end of the year, but we'll probably see him fighting middle of the year again, just to showcase more, or maybe even get a tougher opponent, even
Yeah.
just to see if this fight wasn't a fluke, possibly, or if he's ready for that level of competition. But overall, congratulations to him. Roberto Ramirez. I mean, hope to see you again. And like, hey, but let's go into the main event.
Yeah,
Let
let's
me.
let's definitely do that. We could get into the main event, man. And this was this was a fight that was supposed to happen the end of last year, but Josh Taylor, his injury or it was COVID, no matter what, no matter what or whatever happened, it was over. It's over, and look at us now. We're here talking about this fight that just happened this weekend. As you can see, that there was some bad blood, man. I don't know what it is with
Big
the
time.
European guys, but
They just like talking their shit, bro. I mean, that's what they do. I mean, look at Tyson. I mean, look at all these dudes, bro. I mean, they like talking. So
yeah.
let them. I mean, they let it. CATERALL let his talking in the ring. You know, um, split decision. I did not. I mean, I guess to our amazement, that how the freaking scorecards were, as everybody could see here on the on the on the Potter here. I mean, you can see what's going on. I mean, 113, 112, 113, 112, 114, 11. That's the one that went to Taylor. I mean, I just think Jack Catterall should have been the new undisputed. I think he was robbed of it. Just a sickening part on the judges' end. Upsetting. I guess you could say that was the upsetting for boxing on Saturday. Very upset, at the outcome. Like I said, Catterall, Jack Catterall. I mean, he deserved every part of it. Yeah, he kind of let off the gas a little bit at the end. I would probably say maybe eight through 12. But I mean, he kept it. He kept the pressure on Josh Taylor. I mean, I just feel Josh Taylor. It wasn't his best performance. It wasn't his greatest. It wasn't even. I don't even think this is like a subpar for him. But we see him in battles like this all the time. How long can this last? How long is it going to last?
Yeah, I mean, what did you overall? I mean, obviously, stating the obvious that we thought it was, we didn't think that Josh Taylor won, but what did you think overall? Like, were you impressed? Because I mean, let's be honest. Not, I mean, we've heard of Jack Catterall, but no one's really paid attention to him
Yeah,
because none of
exactly.
his fights really aren't televised like they should be. Which he's a good talent. He's a really good fighter, and which I think everybody deserves to have that fair share of notoriety. notoriety. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I know that the media was saying if Josh Taylor took this lightly, that he can be in for a surprise and he could possibly lose this fight. And I don't want to say this or say that Josh Taylor took Catterall lightly. It could be numerous things. It could be the weight. It could have been the injury. Could have been many other things. Nobody knows that factor. But if we're gonna say that Josh Taylor took Catterall lightly, that's pretty much taken away from what Catterall accomplished in this fight. Because he looked good, man. I was very impressed, very very impressed what he was
Mm-hmm.
doing. The southpaw, good left hand. He was able to keep Josh Taylor. He wasn't. Josh Taylor was having to guess on what to do. I think if Catterall doesn't slow down like the last 4 rounds of this fight, like I think this will be more of a convincing win. Maybe in the judges' eyes, they thought he was just taking these rounds off because they thought maybe he had this in the bag. But overall, I was very impressed with Josh Catterall. As far as as far as Josh Taylor, we know he's not going to stay at 140. He's mentioned it, he even tweeted it all day that he even apologized for whatever happened. He believes that Catterall won this fight, but he also thinks that it was close enough to where he thought he pulled off the win. But he's not staying at 140. I think he's just too big for that weight class now. There's 147, which there's many fights there to be made.
Plenty.
Yes, plenty of fights, new, old, present, past, all different types of fighters at 147. But we know that Josh Catterall came out with actually put this out on Instagram this morning. I was actually seeing, stating here that nothing will ever change how he feels about the fight Saturday. I won that fight. I
Mm-hmm.
came to the champions country, gave him a lesson. The decision doesn't sit well with me, and did not didn't think it over very well. So pretty much saying that, and how everybody feels, it's unfortunate. And we know that Teddy Atlas is really big on this, where he
Mm-hmm.
promotes this, where he talks about how these guys train all their life for these moments, and this is what happens in the end. But it's unfortunate, man, for Catterall, bro. Very unfortunate for Catterall.
Yeah, I mean, it is being, of course, they're challenging the ruling right now, and I mean, yeah, I mean, like Teddy Atlas said, I mean, like even like Tony Value said, I mean, we'll just mention him for a second. I mean, he's mentioning things about judges. I mean, how many times have we seen this in the past year? Like two judges ended up getting suspended last year, an Oscar Valdez judge, and then of course another judge from the fight before that. And I mean, just reading what Tony Value said. I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Officials and referees need to explain themselves after fights. I mean, boxers have to, like you said. Of course, they have to give their input. They were in the damn ring.
Yep.
It's like what the hell are you watching? Sometimes it's just. I mean, we see this in a lot of fights. I mean, we're ranging from Mayweather, Canelo. It can go on. We see this. I mean, everybody has this. But yes, I do feel Tony Bellew is right. this should be an explanation, and of course, these people should be suspended for the bull crap that goes on, because this is taken from the sport. It really
Yeah,
is.
yeah, exactly, man. And that's I think that is like one of the best point of views, or one of the best points what these judges should be doing. Like we have the fighters at the end of the fight explain what they should have done better, what they didn't do right. So why shouldn't the judges and the referees have an explanation? Oh, they should have like a press conference for them and ask them like, hey,
Yeah.
what did you saw? What did you see
Hmm.
different? Or why is your score different from this guy? Like what what were you looking for in this fight? Were you looking for the aggressor? Were you
Who
looking for
paid
the
you?
defense? Yeah. Let's see some pay stubs.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. So it had everybody talking, man. It had the whole buzz, everybody from boxing to even Mr.
Jesus Christ.
Mr. Jake Paul, man. Hey, you know what? I have nothing
No, I have
really
nothing wrong
bad
to
to
say
say.
about this one either, but I mean,
Yeah,
jeez, he's putting his nose into everything now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, but he does have a point. I mean, they act like a jury. They're gonna go with the best outcome, or where, if where the money's at. Pretty much they're gonna know. Like it's just gonna be their hometown favorite or not.
Yeah.
I mean, shit like that happens. It sucks. Jake Paul, thank you for commenting on this whole scenario, though.
Yeah, no. What I mean, there were so many different points that everybody was making online. Some agreed with Tony Bellew. Some are even saying they should have like 5 judges. Some was saying that they should have even rounds, odd rounds. I mean, what is your point of view, Julian? What do you think? What do you think in your eyes? Like, if they were to give you the power to say, "Hey, you know what, Julian, we honor what you believe is the right thing to do. What should we do?" What?
I think the referee should be the final judge. For these split decisions, or even like to make that decision. I really think that referee in there. I mean, he's in there with them. He's seen every point, every angle. He's in there watching this. I mean, of course, the judges are too, but they're not in that action that he is.
Mhm.
He's seeing things that the judges aren't seeing. I mean, he's seeing things we aren't seeing. I
Exactly.
mean, we don't see these until we actually watch the fights, another time. But I think the referee should be all three judges, and then of course if there's a draw, the referee should be the mainstay to be like, okay, well, this is my scorecard. He should be doing the card like an umpire, like an umpire in baseball. They
Exactly.
have a scorecard, like doing their thing. They should do the same thing. And I just think, if maybe they should add another judge or two. Maybe there should be like a line judge, of course, the referee being a judge, and of course all three ring judges. I mean, that's just how it should work.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just been too much shit going on lately. With with judging any fight. That goes. I mean, UFC's getting it right. A lot of the time. Like what the hell's boxing doing wrong?
Man, man, man. I mean, I think we know that hidden entity was the boxing, politics. Too many people, too many hands in the. There's too many hands in a pot. I think. Yep, money talks, man, and and that to me, I think is a very good point as far as a referee actually being, or the judge being like a referee, or a referee being a judge as well. That's the extra set of eyes. You have like on a baseball field, right? You have your main umpire behind the plate. You have your first base side. You have your third base side, and then you have your infield
And who do they look at for?
umpire.
And who do they look at for a check swing? Your
Yeah,
other umpire. I mean,
exactly. Down third base side, down first
yeah.
base side, and then
Yeah.
if they're not sure, what do they do? Call timeout. They do a little press conference. But I think some people think that if that was to happen, where they had more, where they would have these judges talk in between, that it would take too much time. Maybe so, but I wouldn't mind having the the referee like an extra set of eyes, like the tiebreaker. You never know.
I
Um,
mean, it just needs to happen that way. I mean, they do that in certain fights anyway. I mean, the four rounders, the referee is the judge. I mean, just what's the difference of doing it now with there being three judges? Add another one.
yeah,
I mean, it's like I said, it's just what it's coming to is kind of crazy. You know, we don't know what's going to happen in a lot of these fights. You know, because especially when they go the distance, we're expecting. Okay, I want the two to knock this dude out because I don't know what the hell the judge is going to do.
Yeah. Would you like to see them come back with that halfway through the fight? Give the scorecard. What did you think of that when I first remember? I think the first fight that they did it with was a Canelo fight, and I think
Well, I just think personally
I
they
don't remember
shouldn't
who it
even.
was.
I just think personally they shouldn't even tell the corners after after 6 rounds what the hell the score is.
Yeah.
I mean that's just my opinion. I mean boxing used to be about not boxing used to be the sport where you didn't know you won till the end of the fight or you drew. That's the only sport where you knew that. But now I mean you have the 6 round. Oh well, you're up you're up by 2 or you're down 1.
Yeah.
It's like I gotta get real, man. Like this freaking boxing. Let's just beat the shit out of each other. That's what the hell we're freaking paying to watch.
Yeah. And that's probably why they had an odd number of judges to hopefully that would negate or eliminate a draw. But think about it. You have 3 different scores, of course, but even rounds. I think they should end it like on an odd number of rounds because I mean you can't split odd. You can't split an odd number, right? You can't have 5 rounds to 7 rounds and everybody has the same score. You're going to have obviously one more than the other, or unless they all scored 1 round. I don't know, but
That's
something's
just
got to change, man. Something's definitely got to change when it comes to this boxing
please.
because this happens not once a
W
year.
WBC, WBA, every freaking franchise.
Yeah, this
Like
happens not just like I said, not once a weekend, once a month. This
often.
happens often. Sometimes a couple times a night. You know, and it's
Jeez.
yeah. But that was that. Um, overall, as far ESPN card it was a pretty decent card. It's
That's a fun
unfortunate,
card.
yeah. It's unfortunate that that controversy took away from what these two guys did really well in the ring. I believe I didn't score it round by round, but just watching the fight when I could, I believe I had CATERALL pulling this one out. I
Hmm.
wouldn't I wouldn't like when I go on with Chicano Prophet, we always talk about what a robbery is. If it's a fight that is determines like a round or two, it really doesn't consider a robbery. So I wouldn't really call it a robbery. I'll just say that they had the wrong guy winning. That's what I think. Now if this
Yeah.
was if CATERALL was up pretty much every single round, if he's won more than half the
Four
round,
rounds. We want more than 4 rounds. I mean, damn.
yeah, then it's definitely a robbery. But I feel like they had the wrong guy winning. Some people had Josh Taylor winning. So again, if you have two arguments, is it really a robbery or is it not? But this would be one that I would love to go back and rescore again and actually really assess it and
I just
not
think they
just
should
watch
run
it
it
as a
back.
fan. Yeah,
They should
they
just run it
should.
back. I mean,
Maybe not at 140 though,
at
because
147, of course, it's
yeah,
gonna be. He even
147.
said it.
Yeah, and
But hey,
Catterall
I
is a
mean,
strong fighter at 140, so I could see
hell
Catterall at
yeah.
140 for another couple more years.
Oh yeah, he looks like he could do some damage. I think after this fight, I think he upped his. I think he upped his freaking his money making and everything for his next fight. He's gonna make some good money.
Yeah, man, he had so much support. He had so much support, man, which is beautiful to see.
Well, I mean, we're showing support here. I mean, we're not even from freaking the UK, man, but we saw what the hell happened. Shit.
First things first, we're boxing fans, man. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, we know what's up. But
yeah,
hey, man, it's
absolutely.
like, what about this one, man? I mean, we had a good. I mean, Showtime actually came out with some fights too on Saturday.
Yes.
I mean, we had some bangers in the beginning, man. Like like this. We can even talk about. I mean, okay, let's talk about Ancajas and Fernando Martinez. So we're talking about Team Maidana versus Team Pac-Man here. I mean, the promoters. Oh shit, Luis Martinez, man. I was just so happy for this kid, man. I don't even think I've seen Ancajas get hit as much as I've ever seen. I saw him get hit in this fight. They threw over 1,600 punches. That's freaking ridiculous. A record in the division. Uh, they Fernando Martinez, man, just he showed out, man. I mean, he's the new IBF junior bantamweight champion. Um, Ancajas, I mean, yeah, he's gonna take his rematch clause. I'm pretty damn sure. And You know, but Martinez, man, he came out, he took the shots and he gave the shots.
Yeah.
And it was an entertaining fight, though, man. I'd say one of the entertaining fights of the night that kind of took off all the pressure off that Taylor fight, you know. And this fight kind of like was that fight, like, oh shit, like this is actually happening right now. Like these dudes are, we're gonna see a champion beat a freaking veteran, you know. And nobody was expecting Martinez to do what he did.
No, absolutely not, man. And that's what we saw Martinez do was exactly what um is I'm sorry. Yeah, so what we saw Martinez do is what we had wanted CATERALL to do, you know what I mean?
I mean, he just applied pressure all night, bro. I mean, he landed an absurd freaking 421 punches. I mean, that's crazy, man. I mean, I think it was ended up being 42% of his freaking punches that he landed.
Yeah.
I was like, man. But man, like I said, I mean, Martinez, of course, we're going to see on Cas Martinez too. I'm thinking probably summertime. Summertime, and, you know, it's like, what you like about Martinez, man? Like, what was your, like, how do you see this kid faring out in this division now? Like, is he going to be a problem?
Dude, I mean, what can I say? The kid showed out. He did exactly what you wanted from a young fighter, man. He did, like I said, he did what Josh Catterall should have did was continue to push the pace from the end, from the beginning of the fight to the very end. That's exactly what Catterall should have done, and he would have definitely had a win. Um, got to give it a Nkajas too. Like Nkajas stood in there tough. He fought. He fought the best to his ability. He did whatever he could, but Martinez was a handful, man. He was like a little Tasmanian devil.
Even
Just
the referee was going to stop the fight, bro, like in the 10th round because he was saying, like, he's just taking too much damage. You
yeah,
know, I mean, yeah, he was, but I mean, dude's a boxer. He's a champion for a reason, too. Of course, let them go. You know, of course, I don't agree with the fight that happened after that, that they stopped the stupid fight. Of course, talking about Gary Antoine Russell, the brother
yeah.
of Gary Russell Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
by the way. Of course, Pascal was fighting for his country. That's currently under war right now.
Yep, Ukraine.
You know, like I said, prayers to them and all the fighters out there, you know, that actually joined. You know, Loma, Usyk, Klitschko's. We see you guys. But like I said, I mean, going back to this fight, I mean, the 10th round, I mean, the final round, why the hell are you going to stop this fight with 23 seconds left just to give Russell that win? I mean, yeah, of course, he did great, though. I mean, Antoine Russell, he showed out. He did what he had to do. I mean, Pastol, the veteran, seasoned veteran, I mean, he just did what he had to do. I just think he was fighting for the pride of his country that night, you know, and
Yeah, was he fighting with a heavy heart?
yep.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes. Um, and but Gary Anton Russell, the same thing, man. I thought that like when they stopped that, I'm like, they just wanted to give this guy his knockout nod. They want to give him a win for it.
The
But
resume. It's the
yeah,
resume.
throw it
It's a
on the
big name.
resume.
It's a big name, you know. He's a name.
Yeah, Victor, exactly, dude. And in his prime, dude, he would people were avoiding this guy. And Danny Garcia, I remember people giving so much shit to Danny Garcia for not
Fighting
taking
him.
this fight. He actually um gave step aside money, and you know who ended up stepping into his in there for him was Terrence Crawford. He is the one that actually stepped in to fight Victor Postol to give him his first loss. But Gary Antoine Russell today, Junior. Um, you know, he's not his brother, but he's definitely got some skill. I still feel like there's a little bit more for him to grow. But overall, it was a good win. It's a name on his belt. Um, is this the end for Postol? We don't know. Is he going to be
I think he's
considered a
going
good future?
home. He's going home right now. He's just worried about his family. That's what he said after the fight. You know, the only thing he's worried about right now is them, his country, and he's not even worried about fighting after this. So I think he said he's gonna wait to answer that question.
Yeah,
You know, then thanks. Like I said, good for him. I mean, like I said, he showed out for 10 rounds. He stood in there with a younger fighter. You know, a hungrier fighter, and like we said, of course, Pastor was fighting for his native country, Ukraine.
absolutely.
And of course the main event. It was pretty. It was actually I would say a shocker to most of the world. To a lot of the boxing world. Knowing that this is primetime Colbert. Of course, he was supposed to fight Roger Gutierrez, for the featherweight title. But
Yeah.
of course, Gutierrez tested positive, and he was pulled from the fight, of course. And that bringing in on 2 weeks' notice, Mr. Hector Garcia, uh, Olympian. By the way, the Rio de Janeiro Olympics. Of course, the kid was no slouch. He was 14-0, now 15, now 15-0. Crazy man, like he just ran the table, bro. Like he ran the floor with Colbert from I'd just say round 1 to 7. Like actually the rest of the whole fight. I guess you could say. I mean, of course, Colbert had his little splurts, like spurts out there, and but I just Garcia, man. I mean, man, thank you. Congratulations to you, man. I mean, it was pretty cool seeing a kid on 2 weeks' notice come in here and actually do some damage to a well-known fighter that we're actually known now, because he's an up-and-comer,
Yep.
and Chris Colbert.
Exactly, man. Very, very impressive. It's something that we're seeing nowadays, man. These guys that come in here with 2 week notice, 3 week notice. I mean, come on,
Doing
like
damage.
doing damage, man. This, we'll talk about this one in a little while with Martinez and Gonzalez, but there's something in the air right now, man. I don't know what it is with these late notice guys, especially, you could tell Garcia just stays in the gym. He stays ready for that moment. And he answered that moment. This moment was what, these young fighters should actually take notes here. Should take notes here on what Garcia is doing, showing everybody that you don't need a full camp as long as if you don't have to get ready. I mean, come on, dude. Like he stayed ready, he showed out, and not to say that I'm not gonna go ahead and sit here and bash Chris Colbert and call him overrated, but I just don't
Uh,
feel like he took this fight completely serious, man. And I think he
Learning
just
experience.
it's a learning experience, and I hope that he does learn from this because he's talented. He's a talented fighter. He had a couple rounds that he won, but for the most part, Garcia
That
was
needs to
in
stop.
Garcia was in complete control, man, of this whole fight. He probably lost maybe like 3 rounds, maybe 4 rounds, but again, I wasn't sitting here watching to score each round, but just from my assessment, I feel like maybe Colbert won 3 rounds, maybe four,
Yeah.
but Garcia was in total control, man. There's sky's the limit for this guy.
Yeah, I mean, he blasted this fool in the 7th round, bro, with that freaking check left, man. That was great. I mean, I seen that left. Oh crap! I was like, oof. So hell yeah, good for you. And of course, being Colbert's first time on the canvas in his career, by the way. And of course he saw it again. And like I said, big up to Hector Garcia, man. I did speak with him today a little bit, on Instagram. He actually answered some questions for me. He just said that's what he trains for every day. He trains for that championship. It doesn't matter who it is. He's ready for anybody.
Absolutely.
And big ups. Hopefully, we get him on the show here pretty soon too. Because he will be. I'm thinking this kid's gonna be the next big thing, man. Just don't. It's not a lie, man. I mean, he showed it. He showed the poise. He showed his talent. He showed the world. I'm here. And
Absolutely.
I just see this talent. I just see it, man. It's just gonna be a beautiful thing later on.
Yeah, sky's the limit for Garcia. So I think so far these two cards, I feel like Showtime actually had Showtime always puts on a pretty good card. There was good
Oh
fights. There
yeah,
was
heck yeah.
fighters that we recognized. Um, I don't know what it is with the Sky Sport guys, but it was a top ranked production as well. It was a top ranked promotion. They usually put on good fights, but it's those ones where you got to really follow. But Showtime, I feel like out of Saturday's fights, they put on a really good show. all the fights very competitive. Everybody looked like they took the fight serious, and you know, unfortunately, CATERALL didn't win. But I'm actually seeing that they were doing like a petition. It looked like they were pretty close to overturning this. I don't
I
know if you
think they
saw that.
will. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah, this one right here definitely should be.
I mean, I have like buddies, on Facebook, on these boxing programs, from Coach Trey Bate, you know, Emmy Khan, out there in the UK. He was actually at the fight, and these guys are actually saying the same thing, like even telling me the same thing, like this is just it was bad for boxing that whole decision, and it's just like big ups, like I said, just to these guys. I mean, just they get in this ring and just to have their heart shattered. Some of these dudes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
And we're seeing it time in and time and again. And we're not going to stop talking about it until the freaking this crap changes.
yeah, let's hope, man. Let's hope for the positiveness, man, because these guys put their lives on the line all the time.
Oh, agreed, agreed. And it's Sunday boxing is becoming a very, very popular thing now. Don't you think?
I
Like,
mean, the only
like,
two I could think of was the Tank Davis, right? Tank Davis.
and Teofimo Lopez.
Was that a Sunday?
Yeah, it was a Sunday. Hmm?
Holy shit! I guess so. I thought it was Saturday
No, that was a Sunday, I think,
against
bro.
Cambosos.
Yeah, that was a Sunday night, I think. Remember, it got
No,
canceled. Remember?
no, it was a Saturday because I remember going to work Sunday. Yeah,
I'm probably tripping, but hey,
yeah,
I
yeah.
know there's
Hey.
another fight on there. But anyway, like I said, I mean, of course we get Sunday classics now. I mean, you had Lawrence Okolie facing Michal CIESLAK,
Yep.
and it's just undercard too, a little bit here. I know you want to talk about it, George. I know you have.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't. I mean, there wasn't really too much on the undercards. They weren't too bad. One of the fights. Well, actually, there was three undercards that kind of stood out. Obviously, for a couple of reasons. You had Campbell Hatton. We hear that he's actually been training with Connor Ben. If you watch the fight, you can see that there was some improvement. Not saying that he's the next Hatton to be put on the map, or he's his next, or he's his dad's identical, but there's improvement, definitely improvement there. I could see that they worked on some things. He didn't look over anxious. He worked a little more patience, better jab, better body work, um which was a pretty good win for him. Same thing, 30 seconds left in the fight and got the knockout win. But I think the fight of the night on that card was the Jordan Gill versus the Kareem fight. Man, that was absolutely crazy. Did you watch that one, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean the damn dude. I mean Gil was probably done, bro. I mean he was. That dude had nothing under his feet, man. I mean that's another fight. I was like, that yes on Sunday. I was like, shit, like what the hell's going on? This dude is he gonna make it?
Yeah,
You know, and
they said he had two busted eardrums.
oh, I believe it. He was bleeding out of both of them. I saw the blood coming out of his ears, man. I was like, dang, man. But I mean, the dude. I mean, you got to give it to Jordan Gill. I mean, of course, he ended up winning with that freaking what was it, a body shot or
No, it
I
was
mean
a
that
hate.
shot to that hate maker, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he threw it right,
Yeah.
and I want to say like before that, maybe like the round before, they were looking at actually stopping it. He was getting rocked a couple times against the ring. Both his eyes were swollen, busted eardrums, and you can see he was getting slowly to land that right hand. He was just lining it up, and he just took a fucking gamble on it, threw that right hand, knocked him
He
out
should have
flat on
got
his back.
DDT'd though.
Oh yeah,
Did you see
I think
that?
2 rounds before that, yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
know what they were
same.
doing. It was a little bit sloppy. It
He
was a little bit
said,
sloppy.
"Boo!" I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, he took him
Uh,
down. Both their heads bounced off the ground, man. Crazy fucking fight. But
yeah, yeah.
crazy to
That's
see. And then you had, of course, the gold Olympian, gold medalist Olympian, have his debut, win his debut.
Galalia Phi, by the
Yeah,
way, and we
yeah,
know.
exactly. He has his brother too fighting. I don't know. I didn't really see too much on his brother, but um, from what I've seen highlights, I feel like this is probably the better of the five fighters here. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean I would say he's one of the fastest upcoming prospects. If nobody knows about this kid, he's probably on the fastest track to getting a world title shot, like a Lomachenko. Only because he's just amateur pedigree. I mean, he won the gold medal in Tokyo. I mean, he showed out, and he shows why he's gonna be the best. I mean, he fought a freaking 10 rounder in
Yeah,
his pro
no,
debut.
his pro debut. Yeah, that's true. I just thought about
It's a
that too. Right?
10 rounder. I mean, you don't do that till. I mean, Lomachenko did that in what his fourth fight.
Yeah, he was already fighting for a title in less than 10
Yeah,
fights.
yeah. I mean, but like it's like damn. I mean, but this kid, he's on the fast track. I think we're gonna see this kid in the WB with the WBC belt around him pretty soon.
Yeah, very soon, man. Very soon. Good, talented kid.
Yeah, I mean, and then of course going to the main event. I mean, Okoli, of course, trying to go for the knockout. I mean, he told everybody he's gonna knock this dude out. Of course, all these dudes say it all the time in, time out again. I guess you could say it was ugly, sloppy, maybe a dull fight. You know, Okali, this wasn't his best of boxing affair. And a lot of hitting behind the head, a lot of clinching, a lot of just to me it's just I don't know. Like Coley right now is yeah, he's a champion, but he does have very minimal amateur experience. He went straight into the pros. I believe it's like I think they said something like 62 fights total, amateur and pro.
Oh, shit. I mean, some guys don't even have an amateur background. But again, like you said, he is IBF champion, IBO.
Yeah, IBF.
Yeah, IBF champion. Hey, dude. I mean, not all your fights are gonna
I'm
look.
sorry, WBO.
Oh,
My bad.
not okay. Yeah, not all your fights are gonna look spectacular. Perfect knockouts. Everything. Sometimes it's just the opponent that you have in there with you. You got to have that dancing partner.
Mhm.
I just don't feel like Selasky gave him anything really. He was in there, of course, to survive and try to win. So it made it like a real sloppy fight. I know there was a lot of buzz. Everybody was calling for him, to be the next thing out of the cruiserweight division. But again, it could just be an off night. It's your opponent. But from my eyes, it looked like there's still a lot that this guy needs to improve on.
Yeah, I
Nothing to
mean,
take
there's
away.
a
Nothing to
lot.
take away. Yeah, nothing to take away from it. He got the win. All in all, like they said, a blooper is a line in the books. He got to win,
Mhm.
but we just want to see a little more improvement. But it was cool to see some fights on Sunday.
Heck yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's always good, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. So I mean, what about this weekend, man? I mean, I know we have a lot of fights coming up this coming weekend. Of course, the Jose Ramirez, Jose Pedraza are gonna face off, man. This is
It's a Friday.
Puerto Rico versus Mexico. Here we
Hey,
go. Here we go again. I mean, hopefully, I mean, it's faring out to be a battle. I mean, it always is. Puerto Rico Mexican battle is always a freaking battle. And Ramirez, of course, losing his titles to Josh Taylor,
yeah,
and then of course coming back and with this fight, against Pedraza. I mean, it just shows that he's, he just wants to show the world. That's this ain't a fluke. Pedraza is not no slouch.
no, he's not,
I
man.
mean, he was a champ. He was the welterweight champion, correct? At one point.
Yeah, he's very game. He's very, very game. Just coming off their last fights, of course, like you said, Josh Taylor beating Ramirez, excuse me, and Pedraza winning his last fight. So
Against Julian Rodriguez.
yeah, against Julian Rodriguez, there's they're both mentioning like there's still a lot to prove between these two guys. I don't know, a crossroads fight, a crossroad fight. I feel like more of a crossroad fight for Pedraza.
Hmm.
He's been there. He's been in there a little bit longer. He's been in there with a little more tougher competition. But I've always been pretty high on Ramirez, Jose Ramirez, and I would love to see what happens. I'm picking him to win this fight. Really good fight. Who knows? Maybe Ramirez gets a stoppage, man. What do you think?
Split D, bro. I
Yeah,
just think it's gonna be that good of a fight.
okay.
I really do. I just like it never fails. Puerto Rican Mexican match. It just never does. You always get battles. There's always blood. And I just Jose Ramirez's style, is always a move forward. But Pedraza is a freaking fighter who could fight walking backwards, man. But I mean that.
Sniper.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but I just feel that that's just kind of tailor made for Ramirez to land when he needs to land and to
Yeah,
win this fight. And I
absolutely.
do believe he wins this fight. Of course, I mean, you never know. I mean, you could possibly even see a late stoppage, but I have a split decision. Because I do expect this fight to be actually a pretty damn good fight.
Yeah, I believe so too. I think it'd be. I mean, we both got Ramirez winning. I don't know. I feel like Ramirez is a little bit younger, a little more
Season. He's
fresher.
more
Yeah, a
seasoned.
little more fresher out of the two. But I feel like Ramirez has very much a lot to prove, and I think Ramirez could get like a late stoppage. But I
Yeah,
think
I
we
think
both
he's
agree.
ready. He's ready
We
for
both
his next
agree.
run.
Yeah, we both agree that Ramirez wins this one. And and it's actually a pretty decent card too. You have um
Yeah.
young
Olympian.
yep, young Olympian
Mitchell
Richard
Torres
Torres.
Jr.
He's been making his debut. There's also of course our a guy that we watched here in Tucson, Gabe Flores, is making a comeback from his first loss against Lopez. You know,
Get Gabe. You get that shit,
dude,
Gabe.
hey man, Gabe looks.
He
I've
looks
been watching
fresh
his
right now.
Instagram.
He
I've been
looks
watching his
good.
Instagram, man. Yeah, he's been looking like super sharp on Instagram. He looks ripped. Like I'm not saying that he's never been in shape, but that boy looks in shape.
I think he looks ready for his next round of his life right here. And
Yeah, man.
and like we told him when we spoke to him too, this is your learning experience. You're still green, like we told his pops too. I mean, bro, don't worry about it, bro. You're gonna see that. You're gonna see that shit again. You're gonna see that belt. Don't worry. I mean, I'm pretty
Yes.
sure this weekend too. And big ups to Richard Torres Jr. too, man. I mean, like I said, the Olympian. Just learn his name too, people. I mean, he's out here to win.
Yeah. So the gay Flores actually is going to be of the three that are televised. He's fighting against Abraham Montano, and
Montaño.
then you have the co-main event. You have Joet Gonzalez. Joet Gonzalez fought Navarrete last
That's
year.
right.
That was a
That's right.
damn crazy fight.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
his only two losses are against Navarrete and Shakur
Shakur
Stevenson.
Stevenson. Mm-hmm.
And crazy thing is, I think Santissima, he actually fought Shakur Stevenson as well, who he's fighting against Joet Gonzalez. So it should be a good fight, man. You got two guys in the co-main event that have pretty good records, that are still very young, have a lot to prove. As always, Top Rank promotes their young fighters absolutely to the best. I love the way they promote their young fighters, so that's a really good thing to see. And also on the undercard, I didn't really see who these guys are fighting, but you have Carlos Malderas, Charlie Shiai, Antonio Miriles,
Mirales. Yeah, Mirales. Yeah.
and then Javier Martinez. They're all going to be fighting on the ESPN card too. So if they have the prelim card, guys, go ahead and cash that. Should be
It's
good
usually
stuff.
on. It's usually you can usually catch it on Facebook, people, or YouTube. So I mean, if you guys want to catch some of that, I mean, just keep a lookout for those two.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
then of
then
course, so what do you think about this one, George? You announce this one, brother, because I've been having fun with this.
yeah, dude, this is good. Again, back to the whole. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna bring in Toro. Is that okay? That we can sit in and we can get in. Toro, we're gonna go ahead and bring you in, man. If you want to sit in and just watch this last segment, so that we can get you on, because we'll be talking to you here shortly after we're done with this segment. All right, we're gonna put you on. What's up, Toro?
Go
Yeah,
now.
yeah. So this fight here, man, this is gonna be good. Another one of those late replacements. I wouldn't not necessarily say like a late replacement where it's 2 weeks out. Like there was enough notice.
There's three
Um,
months notice on this, so I mean, this is just gonna be a banger of a fight.
yes, absolutely, man. I hate to. This is one of those ones I hate to try to pick who. But if I had to pick, someone would say Martinez, right? I mean, yeah,
Mark,
Martinez by fifth round.
yeah, fifth round TKO. I mean, I'm seeing that. I mean, then I'm seeing split decision, and I'm seeing Chocolito in 10. So I mean,
And they're both each other's poison, man. Like
they're
Martinez
built
hasn't
for
faced,
each other.
yeah, Martinez hasn't faced anybody like Chocolatito, and we don't know how good really Martinez is. Like we know he's really good, but he's fighting against Chocolatito, like the experience. He's seen all the styles, and
And we've
Martinez is
seen
just another
Martinez
style.
down. We've seen Martinez down though. I mean, he doesn't have an iron chin. I mean, he
Mm-mm.
could easily go down, and Chocolito has that power.
Yeah,
I have Chocolito winning that fight though. You
yeah,
know, just I think it's gonna be another one of those that's gonna be like, oh man, like you don't want to score it, but
it
you're
has to
gonna
be
have
made.
to, or you have to score it. You know,
Yeah,
I think there's gonna be a lot of close rounds in this fight. But
yep.
like I said, I think I had Chocolito stopping him probably in the later rounds too, late stoppage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna still probably wait until like the last minute when they do their ring walk, where I'm picking like, oh, I'm gonna pick Martinez, I'm gonna pick Chocolatito. So I know from here on until Saturday, I'll be going back and forth. It's a 50-50 fight for me. But I guess for the sake of going live, I'm gonna say that the streak doesn't end here for late replacement guys to win. I feel like maybe Martinez can pull this one off, but again, I could change my picks, but I'm
This
just
is
gonna
an Estrada Chocolito pedigree in it. I'm just letting everybody know. I mean, this is probably gonna be one of those another fights, and where we want to see them do it again.
yeah, absolutely, man,
You know,
absolutely.
and of course, I mean, you have the undercard. I mean, Mauricio Lara's fighting against
Mhm.
Emilio Sanchez as a co-feature. Of course, Mark Castro, man, the boxer, he's coming out, man. Again, love the kid. Angel Fierro, Diego Pacheco, and of course, you have Sky Nicholson making her pro debut, man.
Making a pro debut.
So I mean, so everybody, like I said, I mean, just support these fights this weekend, man, and let's see how it goes down.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, I mean, people, we have a special guest, of course, today. Tucson native, graduate, of course, graduated in Tucson, about to make his pro debut this weekend here in Tucson at the Rialto people. Um, so Toro, man, you can introduce yourself, brother.
El Toro Hermosillo. I'm from Tucson. I graduated from Amphi, and it's finally good to be on the ropes, off the ropes with you guys. I've been
Heck
trying to
yeah.
get on for a minute, but I've been hearing you guys since you guys started. I still rock that shirt that you gave me at the Valdez fight.
Oh,
Hell
nice.
yeah, all day.
Dude, I was thinking about that not too long ago too. Me and Julian were walking around with those extra shirts. I know we gave you one, and we were walking by, and Julian's like, "Watch, I'm about to see who wants this shirt." And like, who wants this shirt? And some lady was like, "Oh, I'll take it." And fucking Julian throws that shit out there. And I was thinking, I'm like, is she still wearing that shirt?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people wear that shirt. Of course, we're gonna have more shirts to give out here pretty soon. But
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, so how you feeling, Toro, man? I mean, I know you've been working your ass off, bro. I mean, how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel good. This is gonna be my fourth fight within a year. My first MMA fight, so it's pretty exciting because I'm a wrestler and I just been doing Muay Thai fights this past year. So finally good to be able to use my wrestling, but you guys are gonna see me stand and bang.
That's
Dang.
right. That's right. Of course, I'll be in the crowd. George can't make it that day, but I'll
Yeah.
be there for you, man.
Unfortunately, I can't, man. I wish I could. But I know there's a couple. So on the card, is there other Tucson native fighters that are going to be fighting?
There's Jose Beltran. He wrestled for Ironwood, and
Rich.
then and then the main event is Cejudo's boy fighting one of a local boy from Tucson, Jesus Borrego,
Uh-huh.
and that right there is gonna be a good one. Jesus Borrego, like he always comes for the knockout, and then you got Henry Cejudo's guy, who's pretty much was like his dad is like a strength and conditioning coach, so he was pretty much brought up to fight.
Oh,
So I think,
shit.
but Tucson pull off the wins.
Damn, that's dope, man.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be really good nights. And then also that Jose Beltran, he's also fighting Henry Cejudo's teammates. And like I was like, I'm a big fight fan myself, so I was seeing who's after me. I told the promoter, put me on first so I could hurry back up and watch everyone else fight. So I was like looking at the card, and
First one.
The dude that Jose Beltran's fighting, he was training with John Jones recently too. So
Oh
it's like
shit,
it's some high level fights.
Wow. Wow.
that's dope, man.
So Tucson's about to get a show. Everyone's all I can tell you. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
Henry Cejudo's people coming
Yeah.
in
So what else?
here.
What else are you training? I mean, obviously, you got to be well versed in everything, right? Jiu-jitsu, wrestling, Muay Thai. Like, what are your two favorite? Like, what are your two go-tos? Like, what is it that you train
A lot of
most?
people don't know this, but I'm also a middle school wrestling coach. So I'm a big wrestler, and then I consider myself like shit. I don't have the best stand up, so I consider myself a brawler. Like once I get hit, I don't get very technical, so I'm like a brawler. But I'm trying to be technical. It's just
It's
that
true
fight
though.
in me.
It comes a time in MMA. Of course, you know that you see it every day. I mean, the sparring. I mean, how's the sparring been for you lately? I mean, has it been pretty intense for you? Have they been working with you on your stand up game a little bit more?
My coach has actually been yelling at me. He's like, "You need to use your wrestling more." But I'm like, "Oh, it's so much fun to throw hands." But yeah, I've been. So I have a teammate. She's fighting at 125. She usually fights at 110, but no one wanted to fight her, so she's going up to 115, and she's been a big help in my camp. She's solid wrestling, solid stand up. Her uncle's actually in the UFC, Jakar Close.
What?
Yeah, so she's
Yeah.
fighting as well, same night Saturday. So she just giving a fight like the same night as her, having our camp together. It's been like big help for both of us.
What's her name?
Williams. She'll be the 5th fight of the night.
Okay.
Oh, shit, man. And where
I'm
can
telling
they
you,
catch
she's
this?
good.
Is there going to be like a obviously it'll be like pay-per-viewed where like you can catch it, right? Like, or is there some kind of stream that'll be
There might be
available?
like a link or something like that. I'll send it to you guys, and I'll as well post it. But I know for sure I'll have someone go live on my Facebook, so people could find me at Jesus El Toro Hermosillo on Facebook. And I usually have someone going live for my fights on there.
Damn, that's dope, man. That's really cool. I know me and Julian always say this, and I'm sure you probably catch us saying this too, but we're always trying to get our MMA guy on with us or someone that we could talk MMA with. I know we've kind of slowed down a little bit with our MMA talk, and it's not that we don't have time. It's just we're like, damn, it's a lot of work for two guys, like even just to try to soak in one sport, like, and then now to have to soak in both sports. But we still definitely are making time as much as we could. I know there's a fight this weekend that's going to be happening as well at the same time as you guys. And then there was the
Killer
one
fight
that
right
just
there.
happened. Yeah, man, Masvidal and Kobe Covington.
Yep.
Who's your pick?
Finish this dude. I gotta finish this dude early and go watch the fights as well. So, but I'm gonna go with Kobe Covington. What about you guys?
Hey, man, as much as I want to see Masvidal win, like it's just I feel like Covington is just more of a more rounded fighter. Like he's like a buzzsaw, man. Good ground and pound. He's good on the feet. He's got a good chin too. And we saw what happened to Masvidal. He did take a good shot. Covington does got a little bit of power, but I feel like I think Covington will probably maybe get like a late stoppage, like after 3 rounds. I think his work rate is too much for Masvidal.
Yep. I mean, completely agree. This is a very bad blood fight. If I don't see no more bad blood, I mean, it's been in this fight. It's been in their camps. They've been talking shit left and right.
Yeah, so much
These
bad
dudes. Oh man, this is a tough one for me to choose. Because I mean, both guys. I just feel that they're gonna come out. I think this is gonna end up being a boxing match for the first round. To tell you the truth, I mean, I doubt this is gonna go to the ground. I just think both these dudes are gonna try and slug it out because of the hate. But if I just had to say, yeah, I would go Kobe as well. I could see this possibly going all around. It's gonna be bloody though. It's gonna be a bloody affair too, and I think we're gonna see. I think Kobe edges it out. I could see a decision, possibly just UD.
Yeah. What do you think, Jose? You think a knockout or a decision? Who do you think? How do you think Covington's gonna pull this one off? You might be on mute. Oh, okay. All right, there you go. I'm sorry. Again?
Kobe's gonna beat him up 4 or 5 rounds straight, pretty much.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think so.
Punch him a few times, take him down, just get him tired. You guys seen the finish?
I could see a finish. I definitely see a finish. I could see of course, Covington being really prideful. He's gonna want to try to put a hurting on Masvidal. And same thing with Masvidal. I don't think Masvidal doesn't ever really take it to the ground unless they take him to the ground. So I say we'll see them throwing hands a little bit, but I think Covington will overall at the end just completely take over the fight and just wear him down. His work rate will be too much.
He's talking about Flores Jr. fighting this weekend. That dude's a beast. I didn't know he was fighting.
Yeah, Gabe. I mean, this is his first fight back from that loss that we actually saw him. But I mean, he'll show out this fight. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna lose for a while now. I just think he's gonna push it now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is he fighting like a tough opponent?
I think the guy has one loss that he's fighting, but I know it's nothing crazy. I think it's just to get back in the groove kind of fight for him. To get him back in the winnings column, and
he's really young still. I think he was only 20 or 21, something like that.
Yeah, he's still really young. Yeah, he might have been 22, but I mean, still very young. But yeah, the guy he's fighting, Abraham Montoya, same thing. He's got one loss. I was reading some people are like already writing off Gabe Floyd. Like, hey, you know what? This maybe he's not who we thought he was, but when we talked to him, you can see that he wanted to run this one back, man. He wanted to get that loss back like badly, and then just following him on Instagram, social media. That's all he's talking about is just get that get back, and you can see his overall conditioning. He just looks like he's so much better shape than he was in his previous fights. He looks pretty ripped.
Yeah, he's ready, bro. I mean, but hey, it's gonna be a fun weekend, UFC, boxing wise, and of course, I mean, local wise. I mean, everybody go catch these fights at the Rialto. What time do they start at?
Yeah,
it's gonna be right at 6, and I'll be the first fight of the night, so right at 6.
Okay.
And then they're almost sold out, so everyone should get their tickets ASAP. I still have a few, and then if not, on Ticketmaster as well.
Yeah. What's the promotion? What's who's putting on the event?
It's a brand new one. It's called Rise of the Prospects. They've only done Muay Thai fights before, but this is going to be their first one in the cage now. So they're switching over to MMA. They've had about 13 Muay Thai shows.
Shout out to them, man. Shout out to them
because we haven't had no fights here in over 3 years, so it's good someone finally bought it back to Tucson.
Damn, that's really good to see. There's so many fighters here in Tucson, man. You even have like Pete Rodriguez. I think he's from Saudita, correct? Yeah, he's from Saudita. Yeah, we've been in contact with him. We kept in contact with him actually through Instagram, and he wants to come along and help us out with the foundation that we got going on. We would love to have you come along as well too to help some of these young guys that are interested in MMA. You can be like a little guide. You can be like a guidance. But once we come around to that, yeah, even in anything, man. Like once we come around to it, I say in the next 30 days, no more than 30 days. What do you think, Julian? 30 days, will be
30 days will be
official.
Legit.
Yeah, 30 days will be official, 100% with everything. And where can they catch you? What are your handles? What they call it? Instagram, Facebook.
Facebook is going to be at Jesus El Toro Hermosillo, and then my Instagram, I'm at El Toro 520, and I'm pretty active on both. So give me a follow or send me a friend request, and I'll just say support all Tucson fighters because man, Tucson has a lot of good fighters. We have good boxing gyms right now. We have Hector Reyes, and then we have Paul as well. I think some of the 2 best boxing gyms that are coming up right now, and then we have Rise Combat Sports. We have Apex MMA. So we have a lot of good people from Tucson right now. And not, I said boxing and shoot, even all sports. Look at the U of A girls team. And even though the men's team choked on Saturday, it's all good. But I still love them,
they're still number 2, bro. That's all that matters.
Hey, yeah. And that's the thing about Tucson, man.
Teams off.
Yeah, that's the thing about Tucson. It's like the small little. It's just like a small big city.
Yep.
There's so much shit going on, man. But Toro, we appreciate you coming on. Thanks for waiting in the background. Next time we Julian just told me kind of late, but we'll next time we'll get you on with a full episode, and we'll get a little more of a breakdown of you and how you started and what were your motivations were to get into fighting.
Being in the back and just hearing boxing, because I don't know too much about boxing, so I'm like trying to get more involved, and just hearing it was pretty cool. So thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, for sure, man.
For sure, man.
Bro.
I mean, everybody catch the rise of the prospects. Saturday, Rialto, 6 p.m. Remember, Toto's the #1 fighter right there. The first fight of the night.
The opener.
Open the night, hopefully with a bang. And like I said, I'll be there. I'll be there, just to be cheering you on, man. All our Tucson fighters, there. I mean, I support every fighter, regardless, but you got to give support to you guys, man. You guys work your asses off to get to where you're at now.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
man. Have a good night, dude. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, keep in touch with us.
Yeah, I mean, people. I mean, it was a dang good night, man. Of the weekend wrap up. Of course, we had our special guest on right here, Jose Toro Hermosillo. Like I said, just catch the rise of the prospects this weekend as they're opening up their MMA debut. And let's get these fights going this weekend, right, George?
Oh yeah, man. Friday, Saturday. Good. I mean, just look at March in general. I mean, it's a good month of boxing. Just these two fights back to back, this Friday and Saturday. Really good cards. I'm looking forward to.
Of course, we're all waiting for April, though.
Yeah, I know.
And of course, every boxing fan is waiting for April.
We'll get there. When we get there, we'll get there. Right now, this is a good start of March. 2 good fights. It's Friday night, Saturday fights.
Yeah, and just in. May 7th, everybody. May 7th, my boy.
Yeah,
the king
it's
is
official.
back. The king is back. Of course, signing a massive deal with DAZN, $160 million for a 3-fight deal. What we're hearing now. Of course, we don't know the third opponent yet. Of course, there's a couple of names that have been thrown out there as a third opponent, but we do know we're going to be seeing BIVOL. The guy is no slouch, by the way. If everybody's thinking that this dude's a cherry picker, this dude has a way better resume than Charlo. I'll tell you that right now. He's been in there with some dudes, some actual names, and I mean, like I said, BIVOL can be the one to give Canelo the problems, but like we said, I mean, that's something to go over on another episode for us. We'll talk about that later. Like I said, tune in, Canelo versus BIVOL. George,
Yeah,
I mean,
man,
do you like this fight?
I absolutely like that fight because I don't think very very many people are overlooking BIVOL, especially like the hardcores. They understand what a threat BIVOL really is, and for his division, of course, 175, and not to make comparisons to him and Charlo, but to me, I feel like this is the more dangerous fight out of the two. And what Canelo, what the sweepstakes is about is what does Canelo want other than, of course, prize, money. There's nothing really there that Charlo can offer. And they made some pretty good hefty offers to Canelo to pull him in to try to get him to fight Charlo, but this was an
and
offer.
Benavidez,
Yeah, and Benavidez, yeah. And this was an offer that I feel like he couldn't refuse. I feel deep down inside there was something personal with the Triple G. I feel like he wants to close this chapter for good and for sure, to get this one out of the way and just say that's it. No more talks of Triple G.
I won now.
We split it. Yeah, we can say we split it 1-1. I'm gonna win the third fight. So, yeah. BIVOL, dangerous fight, man. And BIVOL isn't, like I said, he's not really your typical come forward fighter. He can actually box. He has really good footwork, good jab. So we're gonna see he's a natural bigger guy to see maybe, does Canelo's power go up to 175? I know he knocked out Kovalev, but Kovalev was already older. But this is an actual prime young guy, Dmitry BIVOL. So we'll see.
19-0.
Yeah, and like they said, you show up to your level of competition, and maybe BIVOL didn't have a really good showing. His last fight wasn't very impressive, but people, were okay. He won, but is he going to show up to the level of his competition here against Canelo? What is he going to show? And does Canelo's win streak continue on into the 175, or does his power go up? I'm sure we'll see the speed and the combination in the overall boxing, but I think what makes the difference is Canelo's power, where it slows the guys down. So we'll see if that'll make the
It's the
difference.
body.
Yeah, if that'll make the difference.
I think it will, but like I said, I mean, May 7th, of course, we got another announcement there, another big fight announced for the year. Of course, we have many more to come. I mean, David Lemieux versus freaking David Benavidez coming up. I mean, just it goes on. And now we're just awaiting. Well, I doubt Cambozo is going to fight Loman now because Loman's fighting now. So now what's the chapter in his? What's the next chapter now? So that's just the whole thing.
Oh yeah, it's true. Loma did. I don't know. You said fighting, I thought boxing, but yeah, no, he went back to his hometown and he's actually on the defense team, man. It's crazy to see these guys. And then same thing with Usyk too, man. These guys, to them, life is bigger than just boxing, and it's
pride.
And it's crazy to see.
It's pride where they're from.
Yeah, and I don't know too much. Like I never really was big into politics or all the war and everything that goes on, but I mean, you got to hand it to them, man. These guys actually love their country. They got loved ones, everything, man. And we just wish them the best, and we hope, that they make it back. And we're not just as boxing fans, but as human beings, like we support whatever is that these guys do. Great fighters, man. Absolute great fighters.
They're people, though. At the end of the day, they're people. At the end of the day, and they care for the people. That they grew up around. They care for the people, their country, just like we do. We're American, we love what we do here, but we have Mexican roots. We also love that too.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
I mean, these dudes show the pride, and like I said, give it up to them. The boxing world praises what you guys are doing right now. We praise you for what you're doing right now. Not a lot of people, I mean, here would actually be doing what the hell you guys are doing.
Absolutely,
man. But like I said, I mean, just big ups to them. Prayers out to Ukraine, all the fighters. Big ups to the boxing world for starting to it's heating up now, like we said. And this is off the ropes, man.
Yeah,
off the ropes, guys. Boxing and MMA. We had a damn good night, George. Thank you for tuning in.
Exactly. Thanks to everybody that tuned in. What's up, boxing historian, my brother? What's going on? But yeah, it's a good show, Julian, man. And good fights. I'm looking forward to it. I know me and you will be messaging each other throughout the week when news drops. Like if something big drops. Like I said, I go back to work actually Friday night. I'm not gonna be working Thursday. I got a couple things.
I playing hooky.
I might going late. I don't know, but we'll see. Like if anything breaking happens from here until Thursday night or even Friday. So, everybody stay tuned. Again, follow us, like, subscribe, share to everybody.
And then the next 30 days, we have a huge announcement for y'all.
Oh yes, yeah, yes, big dreams, man. So
the dream's coming true. That's all I could say.
Yes. Everybody have a good night. This is Off the Ropes, George.
Julian, logging off, people.